Puddin has spent her whole life blind due to a case with her previous owners.
I saw this picture of this dog and I was like, oh my God, Mom, look at this dog. And my mom looks at me and she's like, this dog has no eyes. You know that, right? And I was like, oh yeah, there's that. We don't really know how the injury came about, but what we do know is that it was like a severe infection and not treated. She was a month old at this point. She was pretty young. Someone called from the community and was like, hey, this puppy doesn't look good in this house. Can someone come and help?
Animal Protective Services got involved. They even went to court to get Puddin out of her situation. But by the time they won, Puddin became completely blind.
Once they rescued her from the owners and took her in, they took her to the vet and they found that she had lost all sight. The vet was kind of like, she's in a lot of pain. You know, she's young, so that's on her side. You know, I think it's best that we go ahead and remove her eyes, and so that's what they did.
Puddin spent 3 to 4 weeks in recovery before being put up for adoption. And on that first day, Corey came to see her.
We went to the SPCA and we went in, we met her.
Before she came in, they said, don't you treat her like a blind dog? And we're like, okay. And she wasn't. She was all over the place, and I don't think she knows she doesn't have eyes.
And I went to meet a few other dogs, but I just couldn't stop thinking about Puddin. And I was like, okay. It feels right, let's just do it.
Right after adopting her, Corey began training her. That way he could help her adjust and feel just like any other dog.
I think it's just like finding what works and modifying it for your dog, you know, and thinking about what they need. So we taught Puddin how to go up and down stairs, which was a slight process, you know, it was one step at a time. We have cues. So I'd say, you know, we're going to go down for literally each step until she becomes familiar with it, or going up. We're going to go up. It's so cute. I mean, I can tell her up when we're walking. You'll see her. She'll physically raise her paw higher, preparing to get up on a step or some sort of incline. We'll play hide and seek. And I mean, like, she'll sniff you out. And that's another good thing to help build confidence in her own self to find you. It's just making small modifications that work for you and your dog.
Now, Puddin spreads tons of positivity and love on her page. And her fans show her a lot of love in return.
Melts my heart. I mean, we obviously had some bad ones and some, you know, some nice messages, but like, it's just not a really good place in my life. And she was just kind of like there a lot of the time to kind of like support me, like emotionally for me. She's almost like an emotional support dog in the sense where I was just like having this life to have to take care of. I was like, I gotta get out of bed. I gotta do that because like she's depending on me. You know, I think it's really solidifying that idea that like a dog can have 3 legs, a dog can have no eyes, a dog can be deaf, a dog can like, you know, have all these things, and like they're just a dog and they just want to be treated like a dog. They just want to have a normal dog life, play some normal dog fetch.
And she gives overwhelming love. I mean, she is a love muffin.
But yes, she's just got so many cuddles to give.
I'm so happy to share this story because when I see a dog like Puddin, I can relate. I have a blind dog, and I am amazed every single day at the inspiration dogs can provide us. Share this if you agree, or if it brought a smile to your face. Follow this page, and I'd love to have you be a supporter so that we can go out and help more dogs in need. And make sure you go follow Puddin.
One day my dad had taken Milo for a walk and he found this injured bird, so he brought him home.
You okay?
You could tell he was quite shaken up by whatever he'd gone through. Milo sat by his side literally all day long. Because of his broken wing, we would keep Cracker in the cage a lot. Once we realised his wing was getting better and he could fly, we would leave Cracker on top of his cage because we wanted him to be free, but he just never left.
What are you doing, little fat bum?
Cracker would start to come down to the bottom of the cage and he would sit next to Milo and Milo would sit outside of the cage, try and lick him. Then one day, Cracker climbed down from the cage and we all just stopped. We kind of wanted to see what would happen. Milo was just so excited, wagging his tail. He followed Cracker around the living room and then it just became this friendship. Now, Cracker screams whenever Milo leaves his sight because they just love being together. Milo tries to play and cuddle with Cracker, which seems like he's squashing him, and sometimes I'm like, should I stop him? But I look at Cracker and he just does not care. He'll go straight back. Milo would be sitting with Cracker in his bigger bed, and Cracker's a bit annoying, gets a bit up in your personal space, so Milo would get annoyed sometimes and he would move to the other bed. Cracker would just follow him and sit in that bed, and then Milo would change beds and Cracker would follow him again and sit in that bed. One morning, Cracker had flown off. We felt very bittersweet because we wanted him to be free, but at the same time, he'd become part of our family. Milo was really upset. He'd cry and look into the cage and see that it was empty. 2 weeks went by and we saw a Facebook post. A koala was found 2 suburbs over from mine. I was kind of like, no, it's too good to be true. When we brought Cracker home, I was really nervous because I really wanted it to be him. But I was like, if he gets down from that cage. I was so happy but also in shock because who finds their bird after 2 weeks? And especially this bird that had formed this relationship with my dog. It's just so unbelievable. Milo would not stop smiling. It was this smile from ear to ear. He couldn't believe that his friend was back. It was just the cutest thing. I can't imagine them without each other now. They're like 2 peas in a pod. When you find one, you'll find the other.
One day I got an email and they said, we have a dog coming from Iran. We know she has a broken back and she's paralyzed, but we don't know anything else. Are you up for the challenge? And I decided to go for it. This is your new home, Pommy. She definitely was very cautious. She also was sort of like sleeping with one eye open. She was used to living on the streets. She had learned to always be aware of what was happening. She would be really tired and fighting it. She'd want to go to sleep and she wouldn't let herself. She was sort of destructive. She would just chew on things. She would try and steal things that weren't for dogs to chew on. The destructive behaviors all just literally melted away when she got the wheelchair. Hi. Oh my god. Feel good? She was running all around New York City in her wheels. She could play for hours and hours. We've been out here for so long. She still doesn't want to go in. She was so frantic when she would eat. If I was eating, if I was preparing her food, she would bark at me like crazy. She would also steal food from my bunnies all the time. It was an actual problem.
Hey, Pawnee, can you stop? Pawnee.
But she is so calm now. It's not even an issue. She still does enjoy eating with my bunny, and they can sit side by side and eat together. I have been sitting here getting work done for hours, and she started on the end of the bed, and she cozied her way up to me, and this is how she's laying now. Sleeping comfortably came about 3 months after I had started fostering. When she sleeps now, she always sleeps on her back, completely vulnerable, completely comfortable, and it just goes to show how safe she feels. We just had such a bond together. We had grown so much together. I had seen her progress. I was starting to get really anxious at the thought of saying goodbye to her and how much I would miss her. So I was really nervous in anticipation of her getting adopted and having to say goodbye to her.
Oh yeah, that's the spot. That feels good.
She's my best friend. We spend so much time together, and I really feel like she just blessed my life, and it was an absolute miracle I never expected. And then when it worked out that I was able to adopt her, it was just not even a question.
Josh was one of 3 golden doodles surrendered. At a rescue Kim was in contact with at the time.
I kind of reached out to the rescue, and they had already knew who I was from being in rescue, and so he became my foster dog. I think it was within literally the first day or two where I looked at my husband and I'm like he's ours. He's never leaving this house. We were so scared. He seemed like this fragile thing, and I'm like, I really did not think I was the person for the job.
But despite his differences, Josh became part of the pack and a core member of his new family.
Yeah, I mean, he's been transformational for me. He has revealed this purpose within me that I didn't know existed. He's really my muse, to be honest. He is. He was dealt a really rough hand. There's still people on Instagram that stumble across Josh's page and say, this isn't living. And then yet here's Josh day after day living this very happy life. He's a teacher. He's my teacher. He does like to go for a walk, but he really likes to ride. He loves to ride in his wagon. We have a big Great Pyrenees, and they're working dogs, so they love a job to do, and he loves to pull Josh. So we just hook a leash around the handle of the wagon, and we hook it to George's harness, and he'll pull him around the neighborhood.
So many people, like myself, have fallen in love with Josh. Some even cry when they see him.
Be Josh's handler and attend to meet and greets or go anywhere with Josh. It is like being the sister of Beyonce. People lose their minds, and we have people that will be sobbing uncontrolled. They can't stop their tears. They have their cameras out and they're just videotaping everything. They're squealing, they're screeching. And every now and then I get a little embarrassed because I'm like you're holding a meet and greet for your dog in a public brewery and people are screaming like the Beatles are here.
Now he's spreading the message of positivity and light with the Be Like Josh Foundation.
I wanted there to be a deeper message behind Josh's existence than just a viral dog. If we can influence people to see the world differently, our fellow humans differently, and animals differently, then we're talking about a bigger catalyst for change in the long run. Because just saving dogs isn't going to change how people value dogs. We have to change the people. Showcasing Josh and creating the Be Like Josh Foundation has really taught people that dogs with disabilities, they really do make amazing pet companions. I see more and more people taking chances on dogs with different abilities.
Share this story if you love it as much as I do. If you want more awesome dog stories like this, make sure you like the page. And if you want to be a part of this family of helping more dogs, become a supporter. And make sure you follow Josh. He is such an inspiration.